So this is the Category 3 race at the South Chicago course for the 2017 Intelligentsia Cup. As you saw in the intro, the course is pretty simple. Basically 2 long straightaways with 3 corners on one end and a 180 turn on the other end. I managed to get a good place on the front of the start line, which is always a great habit to pick up. It's one of the easiest things you can do to get a better start and not automatically have to expend a bunch of energy trying to move up through the group. Right off the bat here, there is a bit of an attack, and I see a few riders moving up the right side to try and go with it. The wind during this race was at our backs for the entire finish line side of the course, meaning the final sprint and any effort that somebody made on that side of the course was going to be pretty high speed. Because of the wind direction, the opposite side of the course was a struggle, with everyone sitting in and being really discouraged to do anything while we were driving the pace into the wind. And this actually ends up coming into play during the race later. As we approach the first time through the 180, you start to see who's comfortable taking it to speed and who isn't. The entire front of the field goes all over to choose their lines, and as soon as we come out of it with the wind to our backs, everyone wants to hammer, and you can see guys starting to let gaps open up already. I see that there are a few riders with a decent gap up the road, but again I feel it's pretty early to be trying something like that, especially with the tailwind and so many strong riders. Plenty of other guys start trying to close that gap, so I just sit and wait for a good place to jump on, and the gap closes pretty quickly with all the riders making those efforts. Again, as we come through the 180, you can see everyone is putting huge effort every time when we come out of that, and some people can't match that effort. This ends up letting more riders off the front, and there are even more in the peloton who are eager to bridge up to that, which means a free ride for me and others on the tail end of their effort. Almost every time a group of riders attacked on this front side straight, they were caught by the time we reached the next corner. And if not by then, they were absorbed back into the group before we came out onto the backside straightaway. Right here is a pretty good example of riders not wanting to put any work into the headwind, and you can see there are a few riders up ahead on the road after coming through those few corners. Here they're still pretty catchable. That gap is not that big, but no one wants to take a longer or harder pull to bring them back. A few riders do put in some decent efforts, but as soon as they see the rest of the group following them, they're not interested in maintaining that effort. Once the group realized that the breakaway had a Callisto rider in it, and that they were going to take control of the race if that break stayed away, there were a few more concerted efforts. I attack right here after the Callisto riders had just chased down another attempt to bridge, and I was hoping to catch them off guard and still trying to recover. When my attack is strong, it just really wasn't enough, and I got pretty worn down pretty quickly pulling into the wind. I kind of tried to keep my effort pretty high, and I try to rally the rest of the front group into chasing with me, but you can see it doesn't really go anywhere once I pull off the front. I think most of the riders felt as though we would catch those guys up the road once we got that tailwind again, but it never happened. At this point in the race, the break is firmly established up the road, and with no one willing to work to bring it back, the peloton has kind of accepted that we're all now racing for third place at best. Coming into the end of this lap, everyone was beginning to line up because there was a $100 preem on the line for the field. I liked my chances, and $100 was more than I was going to get for third place, so I figured I would give it a try. As we come through the 180, my teammate Alex puts in a bunch of work to bring us back to the few riders who had gapped everyone out of there. I take my time, sitting in the draft and trying to work as little as possible, saving as much as I can for the sprint. When I see Alex start to die, I try to bridge up that gap, and I'm able to hop on my buddy Daniel's wheel just as he accelerates. This was working perfect for me. I really thought I had it. However, as I was about to jump and move to the left of Daniel, another rider jumped and was able to stop me from making that move. I kind of got pinched in between the two, and by that point they had accelerated too much and I wasn't really going to be able to get ahead of them, so I didn't really waste any more effort. As we came through the finish line there's one lap to go. I knew the pace was going to jump pretty quickly with one lap to go, so I tried to get myself ready and get a couple seconds of recovery. Unfortunately for the last lap though, my speed stopped working here, so I'm just going to tell you that we were going 60 miles an hour the whole time. You can see that everyone is putting down pretty solid power and trying to shred the field a bit, especially since we had just had that preem lap. There are a few riders putting in moves and trying to open up a gap before the 180 here, but I know with that giant tailwind, there isn't really something that we have to worry about because everyone is going to be giving 100% of their effort on that last straightaway. So I figure I'll be able to hop some wheels and move up as we catch other riders. Right here, the rest of the group accelerates hard and we start reeling in all the other riders who went a little too early. I'm trying to suck as much wheel as possible while still moving up and trying to set myself up for this sprint. With the last bit of the finish right in front of us, I jump and end up taking 2 riders with me. We go pretty wide into the finish and I end up taking 7th overall in this race. I was feeling pretty decent. I would have liked to finish a little better, obviously, but I was happy and looking forward to the rest of the series. Thanks for watching. Remember to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more videos from me, click subscribe. I'll have a new video every week.